My name is Eitan Yudilevich. I'm the Executive Director of the Bird Foundation. We will start with an overview of the Bird Energy Program by Ms. Limor Nakar-Vincent, the Deputy Executive Director of Business Development and Bird Energy. And then Mr. Emek Sadot, CEO of F-Side, Foresight, will present Bird Project. A couple of words about our stakeholders. So the Bird Energy Program is sponsored by the U.S. Department of Energy and the Israeli Ministry of Energy, jointly with the Israel Innovation Authority in Israel. The program was started in 2009, and since 2009, since its inception, Bird Energy has approved projects in 11 cycles. So this last cycle was in November 2009. We are very happy to have you in the webinar. The one additional point is the Q&A. Please use the Q&A tab at the bottom of your screen for questions, and we will try to answer the questions in real time. And if we cannot answer all questions in real time, we will certainly be able to answer those in offline. So with that said, since we want to start on time and finish on time, we need to end the webinar by 12:50 New York time. Please, Limor, the stage is yours.
Thank you. So thank you all for coming and joining us today. We're very excited to be here, and together with Eitan, we have our team members. We have Andrea Yona, who is our Director of Business Development on the East Coast and the Midwest of the United States. We also have Maya Vardi Shoshani, who is our West Coast Director, and also with me, my other team members, Omer Carmel and also Tal Kelem. So in the next 25 minutes, I would like to review the program, explain to you the stages of submission to the Bird Energy Program, and hopefully during this time, if you have additional questions, you feel free to put it together on the Q&A, and we will try to respond to these questions by the end of this webinar. And if we are unable to do so, we promise that we'll reach out to you following the webinar and set up additional meetings to answer all your questions. So I will begin by reviewing the presentation that I prepared. This presentation is also going to be on our website, so you can review it afterwards. So let me just share my screen with you. Okay, so as Ethan mentioned before, the Bird Energy Program actually began in 2009, and our stakeholders are the DOE on the US side, and then the Israeli side is the Israel Ministry of Energy, together with the Israel Innovation Authority. We are the Bird team. It's the Bird Foundation that was established in 1977 to promote and support joint collaboration between Israeli and American companies, developing new products or technologies and bring it to market. And since 1977, we have added additional programs to our work, and the Bird Energy Program was added in 2009. The mission stayed the same. The idea is to stimulate, promote, and support joint industrial research and development projects, which has mutual benefit to Israel and the United States. So what do we do in a nutshell? In a nutshell, we try to assist in finding strategic partners. We do a lot of introduction between Israeli and American companies. And we have the ability to offer conditional grants, which is up to 50% of the research and development costs associated with the joint project. The funding is up to $1 million, which fund the joint activities. And if the project is successful and generate revenue, then the companies have to repay back the foundation a percentage of the revenue that was generated as support that the project received. The Bird Energy program began in 2009, and ever since then, once a year, we publish calls for proposal, where we invite the companies to submit to us joint energy proposal. The Bird Energy program focused specifically on renewable energy and energy efficiency. We also added additional topics such as the natural gas and other associated technologies. If you can see from the topics which are mentioned in our call for proposal, projects that will be considered should include research and development cooperation between two companies, or cooperation between a company and the research institutes, one from the United States and one from Israel. This is a program that allows research institute to take part in it, as long as there is significant commercial potential and the project outcome should also lead to commercialization. We receive proposal in all different areas, the innovation in all areas of renewable energy and energy efficiency, such as solar power, advanced vehicle technologies, and alternative fuels, smart grid storage, advanced manufacturing, AI for energy management is another topic that we've added. But it's not limited just to these topics. And I know because in last week I received several questions related to additional sectors and topics that companies would like to submit. And I want to clarify that if you are not sure whether your topic is included in the call for proposal, you are more than welcome to reach out to us. And if we are not sure ourselves, we will reach out to our stakeholders, the DOE and the Israel Ministry of Energy and the Israel Innovation Authority, to check with them and verify that this topic really truly is responding to the call for proposal. So this is basically the model. Israeli company or research institutes partnering together with American company or research institutes. We do demand and require that at least going to be one commercial partner in the partnership. They submit a partnership to the Baird Foundation, and if the project is selected by executive committee, they can receive a grant, which is up to 50% of the research and development cost, no more than $1 million per project. And every dollar which is invested by the government yield at least $2 of activity through private sector cost sharing. So this is the repayment schedule. As I explained before, this is funding that is received by the U.S. government, the Israeli government. Every year we receive $4 million to fund joint collaboration between the companies and the partners. And since it is public funding, and if the project is successful and generate revenue, then obviously we would like to get back some of the money and reinstate it in additional project we want to fund. So the repayment schedule is really discussing how we expect, if the companies generate revenue, what we expect from the companies to repay us back. And the minimum repayment is 5% of the sale generated by the project. Obviously, if for whatever reason the project did not generate any revenue, then Bird Energy shared the risk with the companies, and the companies did not have to repay us back. Otherwise, the grant repayment is based on the sales of the project, and there is escalations of the grant to be paid to the Bird Foundation based on the sales. But in any case, the maximum repayment, if the project is very successful and generates enough revenue, it's not going to be more than 150% of the grant that both companies receive. A little bit about the submission timetable. As I said before, once a year, we publish the call for proposal, and companies who want to participate need to meet the deadline. The first deadline is the submission of the executive summary, which will take place on June 30, 2020. The following deadline will be the full proposal, and then by mid-November, we hope that the both representatives of the governments will meet and will decide which project they want to award. Here is a chart of our screen of our Bird Foundation website. And on our website, there is plenty of information. If you want to read information about the Bird Energy and project that we funded over the years, then obviously you should take a look at the Bird Energy information which is on it. And on our guidelines and forum, which is the third tab from the left, there are plenty of information related to the procedures and submission forms. As I said before, the first stage is really the submission of the executive summary. The executive summary is limited to up to 4 pages, and it should be submitted by both partners, the U.S. partner and the Israeli partner. On our website, you can actually download this form, and it will include the information about the companies involved in the project, the outcome of the project they want to do together, and there's additional information that we would ask you to fill up. The next stage, you will be asked to answer 5 questions relating to the outcome of the project, the backgrounds of the companies or the partners involved in the project, information related to the innovation behind the project, the collaborative relationship, and also the commercial potential. This information needs to be submitted through our upload system. It's also on our website. Each company has to register on its own, and basically one of the partners can submit the executive summary signed by both partners. We would like to encourage you to reach out to us prior to the submission of the executive summary. Our role in the foundation is really to support the partnership. So when we can review the executive summary, we can give you feedback, we can support you in any way or sense in making also a relationship with the Israeli company, with the US company. So we would definitely like to suggest that if you are planning to submit a proposal to the Bird Energy Program, you should definitely be in touch with us. I have our contact information also in the end of the proposal, in the end of the presentation, and then we will also send it to you following this webinar. So what happened when you submit the executive summary? We receive an executive summary and we review those executive summaries. We know that it takes a lot of work and resources to prepare a joint proposal. And when we review those executive summary, we want to see 4 criteria. One is the innovation, the technology that the companies want to develop together. We want to see synergy, a good synergy between the partners, and also the market opportunity and the go-to-market strategy. We know that this is only an executive summary, and it's basically a short summary of the project that you want to submit. But since we know it takes a lot of time to work on the proposal, we ask you to submit the executive summary. We do an internal review. And by the end of this review, which happens within really a short time following the submission, a couple of days afterwards, we will send you a letter recommending to submit a proposal or a no-go recommendation if we think that the chance of receiving the conditional grant is low. And we usually give companies the feedback and try to assist them and explain what do we think should be done in order to submit a better proposal. But in any case, this is only a recommendation, and companies, if they're still committed to the proposal, they can always submit a proposal. So the next stage following the submission of the executive summary is after you receive the letter from the foundation, we will ask you to prepare a full proposal, which is a very detailed proposal, and it takes a lot of time to prepare this proposal jointly with your partners. The deadline to submit the full proposal is going to be August 13. Again, on our website, we have the submission forms, including the guidelines on the necessary information needed to prepare the proposal. We will also have our office manager is also going to be in touch with the companies and send to them this information. But I always advise you to look into our website and to see in advance what are the expectations. So once you submit the proposal to the foundation, there's going to be a review, which will be done separately by the Department of Energy on the U.S. side, and it will be done on the Israeli side by the representative of the Israel Ministry of Energy and the evaluator appointed by the Israel Innovation Authority, who are the stakeholders of this program. In many cases, most of the time, the review will focus on reading the proposal, and in some cases, usually on the Israeli side, the reviewers will also be in touch with the partners if they have additional questions related to the proposal. The executive committee of the Bird Energy is going to meet sometimes in mid-November. We're trying to finalize right now the date. Obviously, we're not sure whether it's going to be done via video conference or via face-to-face meeting. This is the challenges of the time. But by the mid of November, there will be decision made by the executive committee relating to the project that are going to be selected by the executive committee, and we will update the companies regarding the funding that they will receive, or if, unfortunately, they're not going to receive. So through all this process, we don't request any legal agreements done by the companies or by the partners. But once there is going to be an approval of the project, then we give the companies a 3-month grace period. It's also going to be extended to some extent. When we want to see the company-to-company agreement, we don't get involved in the business relationship between the companies, but we do want to see a commitment to work based on the proposal submitted to the Bird Energy program, and also a commitment to repay the Bird Foundation if revenue is generated. We will also do the financial due diligence to make sure that the companies have the matching fund to begin the project and end it. And once we sign the cooperation and project funding agreement, and this legal agreement is also on our website, so you're welcome to look into it, we will give the companies an advancement to begin the project. Every segment, which is usually every 6 months, companies are going to submit to us a milestone report, a technical report elaborating on the work that is done by the two partners, and a separate financial report. And based on their progress and the agreement, we will give them the next amount of funding until the end of the project. By the end of the project, we would like to see a final report, and we will do the audit to make sure that the funding has been spent according to the plan, and we'll ask the companies to submit to us sales report. So we also publish a press release stating the project that was selected by our executive committee. You can also see it on our website, and these are the 9 projects that were approved in 2019, and some of them already began working and were signed. So in this slide, you can actually see the spread of the projects across the United States. So far, since the establishment of the Bird Energy Program, we've funded 51 projects that were initiated, and they are spread all around the United States. And we would like to foster more projects between the states and in different areas. Here is also a slide stating some of the logos of the companies that participate in the Bird Energy Program. We definitely like to support the project that were awarded by the executive committee. We not just monitor them, but we try to support them and create a public relationship and promote them in any way that we can. And a research that was done by an outside organization actually also showed that since 2009 until 2018, the participant companies that receive funding from the Bird Energy Program raised together an amount of $456 million in 76 funding rounds and grants. So it also shows that the stamp of approval that is given by the Bird Energy Program also support the companies in their ability to raise funds and to penetrate the market. So just to summarize, why bird energy? Obviously the funding of the joint development of advanced technologies help to support the projects and the partnership between the companies. We put a specific emphasis on the partnership, and the support we give it is also very important and crucial. It's a risk-sharing mechanism. It's a non-dilutive funding. We do not get any equity or any intellectual property rights in the joint project. The review, which is done by external organization, both by the DOE, the Israel Innovation Authority, and the Israel Ministry of Energy, gives the project a very important stamp of approval that also support the companies and their abilities afterwards to raise funds, etc. And it's a commitment that accelerates delivery and time to market. So I'm almost done. If you have any questions about the bird energy, and if you need additional information, feel free to contact us. I work here in Israel together with my team, Tal, Kelem, Omer, Carmel, and obviously Eitan, our executive director. And as I said before, on the East Coast and Midwest, we have Andrea Yona, who will be happy to reach out to you and answer your questions, and Maya Vardi Shoshani on the West Coast.
Thanks, Limor. I've been answering questions all the way in real time, where as much as I can. And if there are some questions that are not answered, obviously, so those questions can be addressed directly to us, and we'll be happy to answer them. All questions will be answered, but in real time, I have answered already 23 questions. Okay, so go ahead.
So. Our next panelist is Mr. Emek Sadot, and we're very excited to have him here. Emek Sadot is the CEO of the Israeli company Foresight, and here he is. Let me just spotlight him. And Emek Sadot is the CEO of Foresight, a company providing distributed energy resource management SaaS solution. Before joining Foresight, Emek worked at the Israeli Public Utility Authority and served as a consultant in the field of smart grid, electric vehicles, and batteries for European utilities and the private sector. For 5 years, Mrs. Sadot was a senior director and head of the energy services and battery group at Better Place. And now is the CEO of Foresight that was awarded funding from the Bird Energy Program with their U.S. partners, and I will let Emek share his own experience with you.
Imo, thank you very much. Good evening or good morning, afternoon, everybody. So I'm Emek Sadot. I was supposed to give you a long brief of who I am and what we're doing, but Limor did all the tricks, so we'll skip that. My company was awarded for the Bird Foundation, and I want to provide you or to allow you a glimpse into what it entails and what it takes and why, and some tips around the Bird Foundation. Before the session, I thought what would be appropriate, and I wanted to start with the United States because it's clear that United States, it's a big market and everybody wants a presence in the state. Specifically, my company started in Europe, and last year we decided to go strategically into North America and the United States in particular. But I mentioned this point because if you want the funding, which we'll touch in a second, which is a great funding by the Bird Foundation, but strategically wise, you're not going or you're not pretending to go into the United States, I would suggest to shy away from that. But just to give you the scope, because the funding is great and the Bird people are fantastic, and but it requires a walk, and if you want to go to the States, it's fantastic. From our perspective, we want to go to the States. We need boots on the ground. We need presence. So when we look at the Bird Foundation, we thought, what's in it for me? What's it good for? Why we should try to go for it? So it's a fantastic platform to introduce a solution or to penetrate, so to speak, into the United States market. I mean, coming from a small startup in Israel, trying to make waves in North America, far away. I mean, let alone the Corona situation, but even in the normal days, it's difficult. You need people there, you need the presence, you need to understand who's doing what, and it's really a hurdle, and it's a cost a lot. I mean, to open an office in the East Coast and the West Coast, to travel, to get all the material ready, to find the right partners, it could be a hassle. So the platform or the vehicle of the Bird Foundation is an excellent one to go into the United States. This is the first one. The second one is that it's a good funding platform, right? Yeah, you need to pay the royalties at the end, and it spreads to 5 years with some kind of a staggering that you need to pay 100% and then additional percent every year, but still it's a good funding mechanism. They don't take equity, they are not participating in the IP, or they don't have any claim to the IP. And if you be able to jump through all the hooks and do the process right, so it's a very good funding. And another point from Bird, which is it's a great team that can help you along the way. And Limor just mentions that through the process, you need to, just an example, you need to apply for the executive summary. One of the features or one of the highlights the help of the teams that you can, or you should take my advice for it, ask the Limor and the team to review the executive summary before you officially submit it, and then you get some feedback, some observation, which can help you refine and elevate the quality of the submission. So what's in it for me, or what's in it for a small startup in Israel that wants to go for the Bird Foundation? Is a great platform to go into the United States. It's a fantastic funding tool. And you get the Bird Foundation, which actually wants to help you. On top of that, I think that there are a few tips. It's a personal impression, but at least a few tips from my end. I believe the first and foremost is to find the right partner. It's crucial. It's simply absolutely crucial to find the right partner. And I would say from two aspects. First one is the one that's actually together, you find a synergy from a product or innovation point of view. And the second one, you need to find a partner, or I would advise to find a partner which is flexible enough to work with you, that you find comfortable to work, because there is a lot of work in submitting the application and going into the legal staff after you granted, and to work for the next 2 years. You need to find the right partner is crucial. And again, the guys from Bird can help you out, or you can find it on any other platform, any other way, but it's really important. The second one is when you speculate or you contemplate what should be the product or the mutual development project, I would strongly advise to have it in the core and the prisma of what you're going to do in any event. Don't invent any new ideas and which are to the left, and to the right of what you want to build in any event. It's one flight, it will be cumbersome, and the application won't be good enough. And then later on in the next 2 years that you need to develop, it will be shaky. Try to focus on what you're good at, what is your plan, what's your strategy, and execute it through the Bird Energy Foundation. If you win, fantastic. If not, it is what it is, but don't try to steer the wheel, so to speak, to the left or to the right, because you don't have the right project. Also, I would advise to focus on the innovation and the synergy with the partner, but at the same time, to try and start thinking how go-to-market strategy will look like, how you can make money of the joint collaboration and the joint product, specifically in the United States and elsewhere, if you believe that you can make it, because it's important not just to show the innovation, it's important to show how you can monetize across the state with your product. It will give you an edge, I would say, when you go through the application, and it will allow you to get better score, better points when you go into the application and try to get into the commercial agreement at the end. Last but not least, from my perspective, the process or the structure by which the application is submitted is very fine and very structured. I would suggest to go through it in details, to cross all the T's, to dot all the I's, to do it properly, and step by step by the process and the structure that was advertised and published and set by the Bird Foundation, the Bird Energy Foundation. Otherwise, you'll go bonanza, and it takes time, it takes resources, but if you do it right, you get the most chances to win. Of course, there's going to be a competition and there are going to be reviews, but if you won't do it as by the book, so to speak, and from my perspective, the chances to get it right and the chances to get awarded are dropping severely. That's all from my perspective. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Emek. Thank you very much. So let's see. Maybe what I'm going to do now is to answer some of the questions aloud. Okay, so actually, I don't know, I mean, I understand that some of you probably have seen my answers. For example, one question here is there a matchmaking function? Yes, we do a lot of matchmaking. We work with companies to try to help them find partners. We were asked several times if we're going to share the presentation. Absolutely. We're going to share the presentation. It will be posted on our website, and also the recording of this webinar. There was a question concerning academic research. So Limor, I think, mentioned that we support the cooperation between a company and a university or a research institution. So at least one of the partners has to be a company, but the second one may be a research institution, either from the US or from Israel. There were several questions on topics, but I think it's better. First of all, the topics are on the call for proposals, but if you have a specific question, it's much better to talk to us, and we can discuss the topic. Most of the topics that were raised in the Q&A are within the scope. For example, one question dealt with water. We certainly support the water energy nexus topic. Several questions dealt with including an additional entity, like a third entity, since two entities are the proposers, submit the proposal. Other entities may participate in the project as subcontractors to the proposals, no problem. That can work. People ask if they send a conceptual plan, and then do they need to submit a full executive summary? Yes, but you can also use the template of the executive summary to submit a draft executive summary. That can be very helpful in the process. We have the possibility to receive draft executive summaries ahead of time, so we can give you feedback. Does the proposal need to be invited to submit the full proposal? The question is yes. I mean, you submit an executive summary, and then you receive an answer, which is a recommendation to submit, or sometimes not. We don't recommend to submit. That can happen also. There were several questions on from companies that are now funded by the Israel Innovation Authority. So please contact us to discuss the timing, because there's no definite answer. Of course, you cannot receive in parallel, but in many cases, things are done in a different way. I mean, you complete your Israel Innovation Authority project, but you apply in parallel. So talk to us, because we have a lot of experience with that. The question is the budget for $1 million for each company from the two partnering companies? So the $1 million is the maximum grant. The budget includes cost sharing. So to get $1 million grant, you need to submit a project which is at least $2 million. Okay, so there are many questions here. We are going to post. We're going to try to post the Q&A also on our website in some time. Let's see. Let me take some of the open ones. So again, people ask about partnering. So again, please contact us to discuss potential help in partnering. Can two universities submit a proposal? The answer is no. At least one of the partners has to be a company. So if there is a U.S. university, the partner has to be an Israeli company. And will the recording of the Zoom session be available? Yes, we will do that. And let's see what else we have here. Can we submit more than one proposal? Not recommended. You can submit more than one draft executive summary for consideration, but when you get to the executive summary stage, you better submit only one. It's much better. But at the stage of the discussion stage, you can do that. You can submit two draft executive summary. Okay. I was asked to explain what is Water Energy Nexus. I think Water Energy Nexus is any project that or any project, water project that has energy considerations like saving energy. Most water projects that we receive, or even in the regular BERT program, have an energy connection to save energy, to do things more efficiently. That is Water Energy Nexus. Okay, I think we are. There are more questions, but I think we've answered many of them, and the rest we'll answer offline. Anything else, Limor?
No, I just want to thank all of you for joining us, and obviously, again, encourage you to be in touch with us, and hopefully together we can work to bring and to develop new technologies that will benefit the U.S. and Israeli industries.
Yes, thank you very much, Emek, also for your participation. And again, anyone that has a question that has not been answered, the best is to contact one of us. The emails are in the presentation that will be posted. It will be posted tomorrow in our website. You can find it there. And concerning the Q&A, it will take a couple of days more, but we plan to also post the Q&A as much as we can. And please feel free to communicate with us. That's the whole point of this webinar. And we're very open to interacting with the companies in order to facilitate the process. Okay? All right. Thank you very much, and goodbye.